Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hi, this is Jan from New York City, and my channel name is Jan from New York City Saves Money. How you doing today on this bright, soon to be bright and beautiful Friday morning? For real and for true, weather-wise, it's supposed to, I think, hit 62. 62 degrees on November 20th is pretty darn good, I would say. Hope that this video finds everybody doing well as always. I want to talk to you today about a couple of things related to food and related to, in general, Thanksgiving, just the whole thing of it. Okay, the food part. Yesterday was what I call savings in action. And I think I'm going to do a series in a not so distant future of a show called Savings in Action, where we don't just talk the talk, but we just like walk the walk and show you exact lessons in example. For example, yesterday's show, in case you didn't have an opportunity to see it, I literally took two normal regular sized hamburger patties and transformed it into a 4-serving meatloaf, yummy meatloaf, may I say, recipe, of which I'm going to show you the picture of at the end of this video to show you how it turned out. It was delicious. The only thing is, I think it could have used just a little more seasoning in my ingredients. So it was early when I assembled it, and maybe I was a little light-handed on the seasoning. But if you're working with rice, because rice is a blank canvas, and you could flavor it up. Someone else mentioned another version that I've also made that I totally am in love with, and it's using oatmeal, because oatmeal, and the person that said this is 100% correct, doesn't compete with the other flavors in the meatloaf. Not that rice does, but both of them are wonderful. So let's talk about those foods that can really stretch your budget. So yesterday being savings in action with that kind of a meal, it reminded me to mention a bunch of foods that you need to consider purchasing at the grocery store, like every month, if you enjoy them, okay? But I can guarantee you with great certainty that these will not only stretch your meal, but ultimately stretch your budget, because if you're needing less, you're spending less, but you're not losing out on nutrition. So, for example, what are some filler foods? Well, rice, like we did yesterday. Rice plumps up meatballs, meatloafs. You can make stuffed peppers with rice with a minimum amount of meat or zero meat if you're not into the meat thing. But you could do both. You could just take it to the next level. Rice is very, very inexpensive. And I know that you know all of this, but sometimes because we hear these things all the time, we become numbified to stuff. And then we just either don't do it anymore or simply put it on the back burner and go, oh. But honestly, if you plan your grocery budget well, you will be amazed as to how much you could stretch your proteins by using fillers that are nutritious to go with it. Another one that bumps up things are potatoes. Wow, can you stretch a meal by adding an extra potato or two? Potato by potato, they are a very inexpensive form of food. If you run out of bread, you can always grab potato to fill you up, and just like, if you're really in a hurry, you could nuke it as to, quote, bake it, if you will. But I personally prefer baked potatoes, like actually baked. But when I'm in a hurry, I don't rather go to a nuke, because number one, I don't have one anymore at this moment. Number two, I rather use my air fryer. So that's just like, some days I just want to, let's say, instead of having greasy French fries, greasy potato chips, cut up a real potato, throw it in your air fryer, season it up with your favorite seasonings. You have tons of flavor, extremely inexpensive, and it doesn't break the bank. So this is what I'm saying, like by filler foods, if you are allowed to eat, potatoes, for example. Some people have certain dietary restrictions or allergies or whatever. So, really speaking to mainstream people that can eat this kind of thing. Okay. For example, sweet potato fries. I love sweet potato fries. I've had them out at fancy restaurants, and I said, well, why can't I do this at home? Yeah, you can do sweet potato fries at home, and if you want a real treat, heat up a little bit of honey on the side to go with it. Not that it really needs it, because sweet potatoes are pretty sweet, in my opinion. But once in a while, to have that little bit of the warm honey drizzle on top of your sweet potato, in my opinion, is like a luxury of made in heaven. That's the way I look at it. Find your thing. Other things besides potatoes and rice that really, really stretch a meal are things like pasta. And that chicken lo mein recipe that I recently did from another channel was just so, so good. I didn't have to call in takeout. I didn't have to pay for a tip. And I didn't even have to use Asian noodles because I had thin spaghetti on hand. So let's say you enjoy chicken. Suppose you have one boneless chicken breast and you have a family of four. You butterfly it, okay, go across, go up and down. You have four pieces to work with evenly. Cut them up into little pieces. Do a stir fry. Add your favorite veggies like carrots, which are inexpensive, onions, which are inexpensive, or whatever favorite one that you want in your personal chicken lo mein, minus the tip, okay? And then you add that to your half a box, for example. Don't even have to use the whole box. What I do is I take, like for four people, I could take one half a box of the thin spaghetti, break it in half, and voila, there you go. You have your chicken lo mein extremely inexpensively, and work with the seasonings you have on hand. You don't have to run to the grocery store if you're having a tight week just to buy a seasoning. So either you swap it out for something else or you forego it and just dose it up with a little salt and pepper, and you will get by and you will have eaten a nutritious meal. You will have eaten that nutritious meal and you will enjoy it. I'm telling you. So the pastas, the rices, I'm not a huge bean fan, but if you doctor them up, you could do lots of things. You can make your own bean dip from scratch. Or actually, the easiest thing in the world is to just buy a can of refried beans and like put that on the side and learn how to make a bean dip out of it. I mean, you just doctor it up basically. So work with things in adjunct with your proteins because it's the proteins that seem to cost a lot. Make your vegetables, and by the way, let's talk about fruit for a second. Sometimes you just like want to break from vegetables with your meal all the time. Who's to say you can't have fruit as the star of the show instead of the vegetable side dish? Fruit has fiber, fruit has flavor. Yeah, okay, so it has a little extra fun taste of sweet to it. That's okay. It's okay to have sweet once in a while and make it the star of the show. It's totally okay. I love to have, let's say, sliced apples, baked or a baked apple. Actually, take an apple and literally put it in my oven while I'm heating up my other dinner, and I let that bake. Instead of only, oh, salad again. No, I'll have the apple. And you know what? The kids don't mind that too. So switch it up. Do things. Make it exciting. Put a handful of nuts on the side at your dinner instead of ooey gooey treats. That's a very healthy alternative. There are things out there. The good Lord put these things in this world for a reason, okay? That's why they're here. Eat colorful foods with your proteins. You could have the colorful foods, fruit and vegetables, let's say, as 60-40%. 60% the colorful foods, fruit and vegetables, and 40% your proteins. Not only is that probably better for you, for your health, but it's also definitely easier on the wallet. And look for inexpensive proteins while you're at it. I feel peanut butter is a great bargain. Peanut butter it's a quick snack, or suppose you just don't want to cook that night. Just put it on some whole wheat toast with your favorite good quality jam or jellies or whatever you have, preserves that you could get at a good price, and I have no problem being a little kid again and eating a peanut butter and jelly on toasted whole wheat bread for dinner. I have no problem with that. I actually embrace that, especially let's say on a really hot night. Like it's too hot to like you just don't want to eat hot food sometimes. Or you're just too busy. Or you don't feel like the cleanup. It's still a lot cheaper than running out for takeout. I'm not saying that takeout doesn't have its place. Yes, it does. And there are some instances where it's actually a bargain. For example, like getting a rotisserie chicken already done up. And if you could wait for the right time to get it at half price, so much the better. And if you could keep working with that rotisserie takeout chicken for a few days, winner, winner, winner. But most of the time, let's face it, most of the time, it's just not a bargain, especially when you have to, pay for tips and all that. And if you're trying to avoid cleanup, just get yourself some paper plates. Get them when they're on sale. Oh, and by the way, you don't have to buy unless it's somebody's special birthday, whatever. You don't have to get the beautifully printed paper plates. They run a lot more money. It's okay to have a plain looking paper plate. It does the same trick. But I'm a real cheapskate because here's what I do. You know your standard paper plates? What I do, and if I want, what I do, it doesn't have to be with company here. I'll take that paper plate, take a bunch of them, cut them in half, and I'll put a piece of cake or cookies on that. Or I'll just wipe off the crumbs and reuse it. If it's not an ooey gooey messy food and it's just crumbs, shake that thing off, wipe it quickly, and actually you could store it and get a reuse out of it. Yeah, I guess I am cheap. What could I say? No, I rather tie up my money with more important things. Okay, so that's me. I mean, if you could reuse something again safely, then you reuse something again. I know I'm throwing a lot of ideas at you and it's early in the day, but it's always good to have a refresher course. Now I'm going to switch gears to Thanksgiving. Here's a bit of friendly advice when it comes to Thanksgiving, and this is my humble, honest opinion. We wait all year long for these special days. We really do. I mean, most of us do. Some don't like them, and I understand. Maybe the person didn't have a great year. I didn't have a great year. A lot of people didn't have a great year. I lost 3 close family members, 3 in within 1 month. But I'm still here to talk about it, and I'm honoring their memory by making sure that I have a good holiday as much as possible. They'll always be in my heart. The last thing that those 3 people would have ever wanted from me is to have a horrible Thanksgiving or a horrible upcoming birthday or a horrible Christmas holiday. They loved me. And I know they're still loving me and they still want me to wake up that day and still enjoy my day, even though I'm going to miss them always. That will always be. I will always miss them. But let's get back to family and friends at gatherings, for example. I don't think, did you ever notice that sometimes people have their worst arguments during the holiday season? That's not good. That's not good. Don't reserve those types of discussion for the holiday table. Do that any other time of the year. And do it maybe on a phone. Not when people have gone to so much trouble and fixing special foods and spending money they probably don't have to just turn it into an arguing festival. Have you ever been to anything like that in your life? Those things that just it's not necessary. And it's actually a bad way to remember your special days. Am I right or am I right? And actually, keep in mind, there's no guarantee you're going to get those same people that you were arguing with over something idiotic a year later. So we all need to treasure each other's time. And whether it's via Zoom chat or video, whatever device you're using, this year is a different year. And here's one more tip that I really strongly believe in. Keep as many of your personal traditions for that day, whatever the day is throughout the year. If your holidays include eating cranberry sauce from the can, go eat your cranberry sauce from the can. That's the one I like. Sure, I like watching things slide out and jiggle. I know, I told you that already, but it's true. But here's the thing. Keep as many traditions that you can that mean a lot to you. Because we have to overcompensate by not necessarily having our family or friends physically present with us, because we love them, some of us on purpose are staying away from them. Why? Because we love them. So it's like a circle. Okay. But the other things that you could do, if you like to eat pecan pie, go eat your pecan pie. Eat it. If you don't like turkey and you'd rather eat chicken, go make a chicken. If you don't care for poultry and you'd rather eat a meatloaf, go make a meatloaf. Hang on to your traditions and what matters to you. We are not cookie cutter people. We are individuals. That's the way the good Lord made us. We're like the snowflakes, sort of like a snowflake pattern that I'm wearing here. We are like the snowflakes. No two snowflakes are identical to each other. Now, are they? Be you. Be the best you can be. Wake up light of heart, no matter what comes your way, no matter what kind of year. Take that special day or two. Put your troubles to the side. You can always revisit them tomorrow. You can always revisit your troubles another time. You could just put it in a can and on a shelf. That's radio talk, by the way. If you record something in advance and you put it away, they call that putting it in a can and on a shelf. That's old radio speak, broadcasting speak. But it's true. Put your troubles away. You could revisit them tomorrow. I promise you, most of them will still be there tomorrow. And stay away from too much news, all negative information all the time. That does not make for a good holiday. That does not really make you so informed. More people end up depressed listening to information like that. Get your priorities lined up. There's a really, really special book out there that's been around quite a long time if you really want some good information. And you know where I'm going with that. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to sit down and listen to this information from me. I am beyond humble and honored, and I would like to take this moment to thank you, right before this week before Thanksgiving, to thank you for being you. I love chatting back and forth with you. Thank you for your comments below. And if you have anything else you want to add about changing the holiday or helping yourself out shopping with the grocery bills and fillers that you can add to make your grocery stretch even longer, you are welcome. All right, everybody, have an amazing upcoming weekend. I probably won't see you again till Monday. So that's why I thought I'd sit down with you a little bit longer. I might have to do something special for a fellow YouTuber over the weekend, but I'm not getting into that. I don't want you to get sick of looking at me too many times anyway. Have a great weekend, everybody, and I look forward to seeing you again real soon. Have a great day!